for me, it felt good and bad.
Yeah.
The good part was I listened to music. I connected with the love stories in film and TV, and I would fantasize about the girl I was going to find, date, marry, fall in love with, you know. And then the flip side was just, you know, acting out from the shaming that was put on me. And the brokenness in the family sexuality story started to taint everything inside of me. So I projected that onto my mom, onto my sister, onto women in general.
Yeah.
Again, young age, 17, 16, 17, 18, where I had the both and of that. It was like, man, I love the idea of love and romance and getting that into my life with a girl or a young woman as I was becoming a young man. But then this haunting of what was broken in it from my family that was almost passed down to me, and that I didn't escape because honestly, it was just pleasurable. No, it was just pleasurable.
And when parts of you are hidden, you're gonna get romance or the closest thing that comes to romance anyhow. People do it through food, too much television, numbing yourself anyhow, porn, whatever, relationships. But you know, with me the same. When I was growing up, parts of me remained hidden because I wanted to be that guy who is in love in romance, and I didn't even know that actually being in touch with love doesn't mean being in touch with a woman at all. A lot of love and romance comes through a woman because, let's face it, the beauty. And but once you get in touch with that side of you that can connect, that was made to connect to a woman this way, then you become this lover guy that is in love with life, the trees and the birds, and you write poetry, and you become more gentle in yourself, which is what I never had. You know, I had it in my head like you, I wanted to be, but then not the dark side, but the hidden side of me, which believe you're dirty, you're shameful, then you take pleasure in other ways. And even later when I connect with women, I didn't connect with them. I did not connect. I took from them. And maybe they took from me, but I didn't go to offer, to open my heart. I just took, because that's when you're hidden, you can't bring this part of yourself to the front to say, there you go, that's me. You don't show me. You don't make eye contact full so they can see into your soul and you see into their soul. No. We just take from one another. We use one another. That's a broken world. We're all broken, and you know, that's the best that we can do. I mean, again, you know, with the help of the healing journey and the help of God's hand, then these parts of us can be redeemed and brought forward, and then life is different. But I totally relate to what you're saying. Yeah, in fact, my brokenness started very early.
Can
Yes.
I ask you something about that?
Yes, please, yeah.
So you were talking about the hidden part, um, and also having that natural desire in the heart to connect to the feminine. Did it feel like a civil war was going on in your story as you were growing up, as a
Yeah,
young boy, young man, that both sides had their ground that they wanted to keep? And
yes.
yeah, did you feel like maybe you felt it that I can't give up either ground because something in me says that would be betraying who I am?
Well, it was a lot worse than that. It was that the part of me that was in the light, the part of me which consciously wanted to meet a woman and then become. You know, you watch the films and he meets the one or she meets the one, and then they finally have the romance. But what they don't tell us in the film is that you first need to become the one to be able to actually meet somebody like that. You know, if you're not in love with love itself, meeting a woman, she can access this part. So for me, it was like the dark part of me, not dark, the hidden part of me that was in the darkness and that was doing dark things. That part of me had the lighter part as a hostage. Yes, you could fantasize, little boy, but actually you ain't going nowhere, basically.
Yeah.
I
Thank you.
mean, 8 years old I was when I first discovered this world, not like teenagers, 8 years old, magazines, my brother's room, whatever. And then the girls who walk by and me behind this, most of my schoolmates, they had interest, but not as deep as me. And yet, I had this light that was longing, for not only just for one woman, but actually for romance. And now I realize that it can be so beautiful when you reclaim that little boy, when you pick it up out of the dirt and make peace with him. And yes, shadow work. I had to go and still am going through a lot of shadow work, and that's what you don't hear in the too much, because these things you can't just repress them. They need to be brought forward and embraced. But whatever you embrace, it loses power. It's like it's almost like you're receiving that person. Regardless of their sins, you're receiving them, and suddenly, because of the love, they transform. They don't want to do these things anymore, and they're back into the light. Like Jean Valjean, the priest took the hood off and said, "You're no longer a slave to fear." And then he had a new destiny. But somebody had to take him back from the dark, had to believe in him. And that's what we should do with ourselves. And that's why when people talk about God doing this, but it's like so many people you see talk about God, but it doesn't seem to happen. Like that inner holiness, because God will never do what you need to do. He's not a violent guy. He's not going to come down and rip you apart and give you back that little boy. How is that going to work out? Yeah, would you do that to your children? Yeah, no way.